because I'm so zoned in. Because guess what? Men get focused. We can only really deal with one thing at a time. Yeah, we got men that know how to mess with different women at one time, but we can't put our hearts in different places at one time. That's a whole different thing. I can put my body in a whole lot of spots. I can put my mouth and conversation in a lot of spots, but my heart, that's in one spot. And that's many times why men are, as you know, are broken trying to heal in other women, because we treat our women many times like we do full-time and part-time jobs. We got our full-time woman who takes care of our main needs. We got a part-time woman who we can play around with and give us some of the tricks and stuff like that. And so we'll stay committed to this full-time woman because we know the benefits are good. But sometimes we want to play. So we're committed, but not fully. And then sometimes we got some good brothers that are fully committed, but are still being pulled mentally, even though they haven't left physically, because of things like that. But go ahead.
The challenge also is the flip side of that coin, because the one thing would be is there seems to be this trend in society today that says if you're in a relationship and you're not happy, then God doesn't want you to be unhappy.
Yeah, God don't want you to be unhappy. Let's talk about that.
And unfortunately, a lot of that kind of philosophy, theology is preached in pulpits.
A lot of times it is.
It really is. And unfortunately, we have to deal with that. So as soon as things are not going well, then it's time for you to pack your bags
and go.
But that's not realistic. I think sometimes we put divorce, we make divorce too easily accessible.
Yeah.
One thing I want you to look at is look at like you have a bookcase, and books that you can turn around. You're at your desk, you can turn around. Those that are at the lowest level are the ones you access the most. Those at the highest level are ones probably you never ever use.
That's right.
But sometimes we put divorce on the lower shelf and we easily access it. But for me to get here on this top shelf, I have to work through these other shelves. And one of the shelves is God. Mm-hmm. Another of the shelf would be my Christian walk.
Yeah.
Another one of the shelves would be my children. Another one of the shelves would be the commitment that I made to the.
So these are all those commitments.
That's right.
And people you have to check with before you just roll out of a situation.
I can't roll out until I have some kind of resolve at those different levels. And it has just been my experience that even though I might have been able to rationalize, well, you know what, God will forgive me, and try to move to the next shelf, then I have to deal with the fact, well, how is this going to impact my children? Once I get past the God and the children, what's this going to do to my mate?
Let's just look at this. Have you ever felt just like kicking the whole bookshelf over and say, forget it all? No, I'm just being real.
We're going to tear this bad boy.
I just had enough. I don't want to fool with God right now. I don't want to fool with the wife or the girlfriend or whatever right now. I don't want to fool with the job right now. I don't want to commit to nothing right now because right now I'm not getting what I need.
Right.
But sometimes I just want to kick the shelf over.
Just kick the shelf.
Just for a day. I clean it up in a minute when I'm done. But for a second, all y'all can go somewhere.
Right.
In the name of Jesus, I got to keep it spiritual.
I was given this passage of scripture by someone, Psalm 142. And
Psalm 142.
We find David in a time of distress.
Yeah.
He is distressed because he has persecution without, but he also has problems within. Mm-hmm. And one of the things David does, he cries out. He pours his heart out to God. He declares to God the troubles that he is experiencing. Mm-hmm. And I think the first step to recovery in that kind of situation where you just like, I'm getting ready to tear this whole daggum bookshelf down, is one, for us to verbalize what we feel is the first step to recovery.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to hide that stuff in, trying to medicate it,
See, there you go. Say that again. Hide it in. Because men, when we hurting, we don't really like showing we're hurting.
Right.
Because sometimes when we do hurt and we do show ourselves, I always use that analogy many times when a man tries to express himself as like a turtle coming out of a shell.
Right.
In a conversation. And woman like, why don't men talk? Why don't men talk? And then he finally like comes out of the shell little by little. You know how a turtle does.
Right.
He finally comes out of that shell. When he looks out, And
bust him upside the head with a 2x4.
And he come back in and she's like, come on back out. He's like, I'm not coming out there.
I tried that before.
I tried it before, and you keep bringing up what I've already been through.
Right.
Cause man, our time is going so good.
I know,
let me give a few things real quick of why a man will stay.
Okay.
Look at this. He'll stay in a situation because he can be himself. Because I feel like I can be a man. I feel like you let me be the man I'm supposed to be. What you think about that?
I'll listen. Keep going.
Number 2, he can be listened to without being judged. What you think about that?
I'll listen.
You listen to that. Number 3, he can have discussions and not arguments many times. Because, some brothers just like to argue too. So
that's a good one.
All right. Number 4, he can be listened to and not have his problems being solved either.
Because you're flipping the script on me. Where women sometimes want to talk, but they don't want you to solve their stuff.
And sometimes women try to solve our stuff.
But they try to solve yours.
All right, man, look.
Okay.
Witness. All right, 3 minutes. How we going to do this? All right, let me see.
Prayerfully.
Here, look at this. This is prayerfully. He doesn't get accused before giving the benefit of the doubt.
That's a good one. Very good.
You like that?
Right.
Ask me before you accuse me.
Right.
All right.
And don't expect me to read your daggone mind either.
Don't expect me to read your mind.
Right.
All right. Here's another one. Why would a man stay? Because God told him to.
That's probably number 1.
That is number 1. Because there's a lot of situations I stayed in, no matter what it is, job, situation with certain family members, certain friendships. God says, don't leave. And I'm like, did you see?
Right.
Don't leave. Spirit will not let me leave. Okay. Another one. Reason he didn't leave or won't leave, he had faithfulness modeled for him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because if I've never seen commitment modeled,
sure,
I don't know how to follow in commitment. I don't know how to. The Bible says, who can find a faithful man? Right. And when we see that, Perry, we got 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
What you got to say? Give me 30 seconds.
Well, as I was mentioning, when we're talking about whether it be leaving or staying, I think whatever we feel, God is the one that gave us our feelings.
That's right.
They are there for a reason. So we have to learn how to verbalize those feelings, express those things to God. God can handle whatever it is that we're going through. The second thing is realize that you're not by yourself.
Not by yourself.
And that's one of the tricks of the enemy, is to get you to think, I'm the only one going through this. I'm the only one experiencing this situation. Nobody else is going through anything or experienced anything like that. Then realize that we're not alone. God is always with us. Never leave us, never forsake us. And then also realize that we're not alone, not only with God on our side, but there are other men and other women who will rally around us and support us in those times of need.
Get some support group. Listen, Perry Crenshaw, thank you for coming tonight, man.
Appreciate
Glad to have you. Listen, I see you already. Y'all have been blowing it up on Facebook. Listen, continue that discussion on Facebook, because I'm getting on my Facebook when I get off the air, and we're going to continue this discussion. Thank you so much. Listen, next week we're going to have a wonderful panel up with us today on Christians Uncut next week, so you don't want to miss it. We're going to have a wonderful discussion about men in the community, dealing with their families, dealing with these young boys, and how to deal with them. Some single mother, you need to watch this. Some father, you need to watch this, because next week we're going to have some wonderful guests. Listen, next week also join us on Christians Uncut, www.access34.tv. Join us on Sunday mornings, Johnson Chapel Community Church, jc3online.org. We're in DeSoto, Texas. We love you. God bless you. And make sure you keep it real and keep it uncut. See you next week. God bless. Peace.